Um, I'm going to mention a video, excuse me, that I do consider important. Um, Two of those come from the Yellow Rose for Texas. Yellow Rose for Texas. So there's a yellow rose on there. Okay. Now, this is not to say that I agree with every single bit and byte because of other pieces of information that I know that are true. Okay. But there are some very critical pieces of information that most people just do not know that she has that I have, which means her and I are in perfect agreement with how this works. Okay? And so, in one of those videos, which is called Recap 918 20, there were a number of things that she mentioned in there that she knew about that I've experienced. So when I know that I've experienced them without her having said anything, and then all of a sudden I've experienced that in the past, and now she's talking about why that is, now I know, even though I already knew. So that means that what I'm experiencing is matched to what she knows. Okay? That's important. So the reason that I say that is that a couple of things happen that I know that I've covered in my videos in the past, but there's a few pieces of information I didn't really sort of illuminate and sort of how this works. But there were a couple things that she mentioned that I wanted to echo on my own video because I experienced it directly. Okay? And that was that in 2016, right around the middle of December, when I had basically what I call a cleansing. It's basically where from the tip of my toes to the top of my crown chakra, essentially what happens, all my chakras get cleared. In other words, okay, which means all of the lower density consciousness experiences that I had, I'm just burning through all that stuff as if I got fire running through all of my plasma, which means all of my veins, all of my arteries, all of my circuits are lit up. You know, like I was just plugged into the biggest transformer, man. Okay? That's called a clearing. Okay? Which means I'm cleared of all the stuff that I experienced here that represents all the bad stuff. Okay? All the lower frequency demonic crap. All their AI shit. All the stuff. All of it just got cleared. Burned off. And the experience that I had right after that was when I had what I call a timeline review. All the frames go back like hitting the rewind button. And all the frames, which represent all of the events on a timeline, because that's what they are. They are events that occur on your film strip, your timesheet, while you're here. So you log in and you log out. Essentially what it is. You log into the system, you log out of the system. Okay? So at the end of reviewing my timeline, okay, and realizing I wrote it, okay, the data gets encrypted, as I mentioned before, and I realized it was being encrypted, and then it's going into the record, okay? And it gets encrypted in such a way, obviously, because I knew it at the time that that information was being recorded in the Akashic record, if you will, was encrypted in such a way that they can't hack it, okay? Which means they can't change the events that are on my timesheet. Okay. And so the reason that that's important is that when I realized, okay, that's it, I'm done. So I have a word that I called that in the past. It's called unplugging. You're done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm not giving you any more energy, which essentially means I'm not going to participate. I'm no longer going to participate in this insanity. Okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go. Which means now I'm just waiting to go home. It means I'm fully awake. I understand everything the way that it happened. Now I'm ready to go home. Okay? She talks about that, which is called an emit, which means you're ready to go home. Which means like you're sitting at the gate. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why. And second thing that she mentioned is that I could have left in 2018 2019, February of 2019. So here it is, almost December of 2020. And that was when I had an event when I was on the Big Island of Hawaii, when I was pulling such high vibrational frequency, I was doing an EMET, which is bye. I'm pulling the spirit out of the body. I'm gone. So I realized I was leaving the physical body. So I slowed myself down and said, no, it's not time yet. And the reason it's not time yet is so that I can hold my higher vibrational frequency here within the realm. Okay? That will help maintain the higher 5D consciousness by being a cosmic anchor, if you will. Okay? She mentioned that. She mentioned how others could have left already that were sitting at the gate and could have gone, but stayed to hold the higher frequency vibration. Okay? For others. To hold it. I thought, wow, how'd you know that? Okay? That's the second thing. And then she mentioned a third word, which she says, what it means, what she called a word called sitting, which means you're no longer participating. Okay? Which means you're not going to use any more of your energy to fight them. Okay? Which means you're done with the engagement. It's over. What happens is you're no longer giving them psychic energy to have an interface with something that was obviously didn't serve us, doesn't serve them, and so their fate is known. Okay? Their crimes and what they did here on this planet, to all the souls and everybody that come in here, they get to experience what it is they created. Okay? We won't experience that. Okay? That's why we're getting ready to go. That's why all the light that is in here now, that is getting ready to emit, which means bye, is one of the reasons why when you look at my resume and you wonder why I'm in homeless shelters and living out of motels on Social Security, and I'm not working at a university teaching or participating in any kind of employment or whatever, it's because I'm done. I'm not participating in this insanity anymore. Because the beings that were running the political and the financial, the educational, all the institutional systems that were on this planet were all meant to feed off humanity. Create a hell realm. I'm not going to participate in the hell realm anymore. Okay, so what everybody else decides to do, that's up to you. But I'm ready to exit. Which means I'm not participating in this insanity any longer. Now she mentions what Trump is because there's two gates. Okay, the East Gate and the West Gate. Okay, one that is lower vibration and one that is a higher vibration. Okay, which means if you can't get your speed up and emit up to the fifth world, which is the fifth density, which is the sixth sun, then you're going to go out another gate. And in order to be able to get your speed up, give you more time, but you simply were not able to reach the speed at which we are. Okay, which means you don't naturally, wherever you go, you're in a state of peace and you're off the chart. Which means this is not our normal dimension. Okay, we're high speed. Which is why we're autonomous. We don't have political systems. We don't have money systems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, this is not the kind of reality that we normally occupy. Okay, so there are other beings that have still lessons to learn, if you will, still need more time in order to be able to get their speed up where they can get through the other gate to, make it into the fifth density. It's you have to vibrate your way there. You can't, it's a matter of, you can't be in a heavenly realm if you're not vibrating at the speed at which the heavenly realms vibrate. Okay? Which is experiencing what it means to experience heaven, because you are heaven. You're like an angel. Which means you don't experience anything less than the most beautiful light, which is the most beautiful love that everybody is sharing and experiencing with everything else that is in that light, which is what love is. That's a heavenly realm. Okay? So If you're not vibrating at that speed where you naturally vibrate at a minimum of at least a love frequency to experience, wow, this energy is like timeless, because it is. If you're not able to just get there because you can't release the lower frequencies, which essentially means you want to stay attached to the lower density, which is the money system, the political system, all the rest of that, then you will go with them. Okay, which is the West Gate. She's right about that. Okay, which means it's not like you're getting the pit, which essentially is the recycle bin, is basically what it is. Okay, but they're going to get what they created, and they're gone. You know, the universe it has a cosmic order in which to keep, in which you're given an X amount of times to be able to get your speed up. And as a result of what happened here, it's realized that, a lot of casualties. And so she did a very good job, I thought, of describing how some of the most important things that at least are important to understand about vibration and speed. Because that's the speed at which the universe is traveling through the cosmos. It's based on speed, which is a waveform, Single geometric point of origin starts with a wave. Hey, I'm aware of it. What is the wave you're experiencing? Is it low speed or high speed? If you're experiencing a high speed wave because that's what you are, that's your soul and your spirit, then you're vibrating at a high rate of speed. And when you're experiencing what love and joy is and able to live in a state of peace, and that's your normal frequency vibration to experience what that is, because that's who you are, then you obviously make it into the heavenly realms because that's your home. And you know that's your home. And you know that's your home because that's the core frequency identity that represents the vibration that represents what you are. That's your identity, is a heavenly realm. Okay? Because the speed at which you normally vibrate at is exactly what that experience feels like to you. Is to be in a state of peace. It's like experiencing nirvana all the time, no matter where you go when you're experiencing you. So that you realize that any time you're experiencing something less than what that is either the result of their demonic technology and the access that they have to your biotechnology, or others that you're around with that are experiencing themselves lower frequency energy as a result of the trauma that they've experienced, or the nature of who they are that doesn't run a love vibration frequency. So this is what I've always referred to as a separation of the herd, based on frequency, based on vibrational speed. So this is the most important time that I know of right now, and that is to do everything you can to do the inner work to get your speed up, because that's going to determine where you go. Okay? So essentially what's happening is the gates are open. Because I remember, when was that, about a year and a half ago, Patty said the gates are open, everybody's ready to go home. So there are no blocks to prevent anybody from going home. You can vibrate your way home and go. Okay? So that's why I don't participate anymore in what's going on. Okay? I'm basically just hanging out until I'm gone. So I know, as a matter of fact, she mentioned something about getting signals, sounds in your ear. You hear in these high pitched, sometimes they're not the same pitch or tone, but I got one this morning, and I knew that it was a communication signal to me. And then I had one yesterday, and then I thought, okay, what is my intuition saying about it? And I realized it's not long. I'm getting picked up. Okay, which is like an emit, which means not my physical body, my spirit body, my Merkaba, my light spirit body. So I know that my time is short. And I knew that, when was that? About a year and a half ago, I knew that I was running out of time, and I was trying to sort of estimate the time. And then when she mentioned about how the AI was trying to infiltrate us to try and figure out when that date was, right? Trying to figure out when is the date of the emit. Okay, because it realizes that if it could know the date, it could try and change it. Because when that happens, it loses power. It shuts off. And that means that it's gone. Everything that it was controlling, it's out of power. Psst. Because that's what it uses. It uses us. A lot of people don't realize that that's why when they're on all their phones, all the TV sets, all the electronic communication systems, everything that it runs, okay, as long as we're participating in what it is controlling, we're giving it power. So I don't give it any more power. And the only reason I mentioned before that I even got on this phone is for trying to do everything I could to share the information that I know to help others wake up and realize the importance of the period of time that everybody's experiencing right now. And now I'm getting another ring in my ears. And that usually happens when I start explaining this kind of information about what I know. That's like affirmation. Now it's a very high-pitched sound. It's like a very high-pitched frequency. That's like a confirmation that what I know and what I was experiencing. So it's not a coincidence that when I get a video in front of me from Yellow Rose for Texas, and I've subscribed to her channel for several years, she's had 4 other videos that she's made over the last 2.5 months, but the only one that I've seen out of the last 2.5 months that came up in front of me was the one that I was supposed to see. That was actually the future me right now that was telling myself in the past that when this video pops up, watch it. That's future-proof's past. That's the way it works when you already know that you are outside time, but you're experiencing the different speeds between past, present, and future possibilities. So it's like me communicating to me. Okay? Watch this. Okay, I'll watch myself. It's the way it works in the mirror. See, remember the bidirectional mirror? See, you're choosing what you give energy to experience. I was choosing to experience that, so it came up for me to experience that so that I could look at that information because of the relevance that it was. That's how it works. That's how you sort of experience how you experience yourself and knowing these things. That's intuition. That's how you run on your intuition, which basically means you already know what's supposed to happen because you're making it happen for yourself. Now you're sort of in outside time mode, so to speak. That's fifth density consciousness mode. Okay, so that's what's beautiful. You know you're home. So we're just waiting to go. So naturally for me, you don't want to lose nobody, but I also understand that it's not up to me what happens to everybody else that's here. That's basically what we call free will or your choice. You know, on the pathway that we all take, which is a learning journey. And unfortunately, for so many people that were here, because of what happened here, did not get the benefit of the doubt because of what was set up here when people came in here that didn't realize what happened. You know, it wasn't like people got the speed memo before they came in here. Hey, by the way, when you come into this planet ship, you're going to have an interface with a parasitic artificial intelligence that if you're not aware of it, it's going to be trying to write program information into your unconscious memory that you're going to run on, and then that's going to be the hell run program that you're going to be running all your life. Okay? I mean, did you get an advanced memo to let you know that when you came in here? When you were a child, did you know that? Okay? So it's like, how'd this happen? Right? So it's just sort of where it becomes pretty obvious anyway that, man, what happened? So I had advance notice, which was basically my future was telling me in my past childhood, don't worry about it. You've already experienced the future on the other side of this. You're already on the other side of this. So, you know, then it just becomes a matter of what I call play mode, you know, which is the time clock mode. So then you have to navigate your way through an energy field in which all the possibilities exist with the timeline that you're running, which is the event horizon of all the events that you experience that are on it. You know that whatever those events are, it's okay to experience what you're going to experience because you already know that at the end of this movie, you make it out the other end. So implicitly trust because you know that you have a source connection, which is, remember the life raft? It's like being tied to a tree, which is a tether, and you're going to wade yourself down into a lower dimension and go experience what's happening down here. And you come in here and go, holy shit, man. But you know that you've got a way to get back home. You know that you have a tether, which sort of means that you're already awake when you come in here, because you realize the place from which you come is outside time. So you realize that no matter what happens to the physical matter body, your real self is outside time, which means when you lose this, bang, I'm back where I was. See? So how many people knew that when they were a child? So that no matter what happened to them, traumatically wise, they could find their way back and restore themselves to realize, wow, just like me with alcoholism, right? Trying to kill myself on several occasions because of how much pain that I had, and managed to survive that. Right? I went through 3 days in an intensive care unit dying of pancreatitis. And 2 doctors told me they woke me up, didn't wake me up, but I was coming out of it, and they said, somebody upstairs must be looking out for you, because 1 out of 100 only even survive what you do. We were ready to put you in the morgue last night. You know what I'm saying? So that's that flame that's still lit. See, which is the timeline. My timeline was already set in stone. Try and explain that to those doctors. That's the power of light, of the light, of that having that much love that you're connected to, that's tether, your true self. See, so anyway, I wanted to share all that with everyone because she imparted some pretty critical pieces of information that I know that are true. Okay, besides the other stuff that she talked about. So anyway, those were the pieces of information that I thought were important to impart, and why certain beings, at least for me, why I'm done participating. Okay, I'm ready to go home. So anyway, I hope that you're ready, and I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that you're able to maintain the speed, keep it up. We won this already, and this is the end of the movie. We're in the final act. This is what I call the final dance with the devil. The devil lost. Satan lost. They're done harvesting souls, harvesting energy. It's over. Anyway, that's the good news. I love you all. Have a good night. Be good to yourselves.